Today we are going to be talking about Austin, Texas, and the pros and the cons. Now, there's a ton to talk about here. I've only handpicked a few topics to discuss, so these are the ones that most resonate with me and the clients that I talk to that are relocating to the area. So I handpicked a few. I don't have enough time to talk about all of them, so let's just jump right in. This is the Living in North Austin YouTube channel. My name is Connor Olson. If you're looking to move in 90 days or 9 months, reach out to me. I'd love to help you figure out the right place for you and your family to move to within the Austin metro. The first pro of Austin, Texas is going to be the booming economy. Austin has been kind of the poster child of the tech boom over the last 10, 15 years. You know, we've seen the boom in places like San Francisco, and they've slowly trickled their way through these secondary markets like Austin, Texas. So really we've seen a ton of companies relocating here, a ton of investment by these companies to bring their employees to Austin, and that has really trickled throughout the economy. It's not just companies like Apple, Google, and Facebook that have their relocations to the Austin area. It's also companies that want to attract the same talent. So we have seen a ton of just new business growth over the past 15, 20 years throughout the city of Austin. Pro number 2 is going to be the vibrant music and art scene in Austin. So we have two major festivals in Austin. We have South by Southwest in March, and we have ACL in October. And those are our two big festivals for the year. South by Southwest is more of a little bit of various art scenes. So there's music, there's traditional art like painting and sculptures. So there's a lot of different things going on for about the whole month of March. And then ACL is more of like your Coachella, I guess. It's like a weekend. It's music. It's at Zilker Park downtown, and it's just a music festival, basically. There's not much extra art to it. So those are our two big festivals, but outside of that, we also have a lot of other, art scene going on here. Outside of those two festivals, Austin is known for being the live music capital of the country, which they define as the most live music venues per capita than anywhere else. So it's very common to be at a restaurant and there's a stage there for a live band. And if you're walking down to the bars throughout downtown Austin, there's always a stage for a live music band. Sometimes there's even two stages. I've been to some bars where there's a stage up top and a stage down below. So really there's just a ton of live music. If that's something you're into, Austin's a great place for that. One thing I've gotten into recently is the local comedy clubs. So Austin has a very vibrant comedy scene, and it seems to be, in my opinion, picked up steam in the past few years. Maybe I just started paying attention to it the past couple years, but Joe Rogan, relocated to Austin, and he actually opened up a comedy club called the Comedy Mothership. And it's not the first comedy club, but it seems to be one of the more popular ones now. And since he has moved here, he has convinced, I believe, 5 or 6 other big comics to relocate to Austin. And I even heard on one of his podcasts of Tony Hinchcliffe, another comic who relocated here, he said from his condo, in downtown Austin, he can see 5 comedy clubs. So they're really condensed. There's a ton going on here, and it's turning into be a great spot for comedy. So I've enjoyed going to those shows recently, and that just is a different aspect to, I guess, the art scene. Pro number 3 is going to be outdoor recreation. So Austin has quite a bit of outdoor recreation compared to the rest of Texas. Austin has a lot of water features. We have multiple lakes. We have a lot of streams. We have hikes. So outdoor recreation is really big here. We have people hiking, boating, fishing. It's so kind of an anomaly for Texas. Throughout many neighborhoods in Austin, they have what's called a green belt, which is basically a stream that runs through, and they kind of make the neighborhood is kind of built around it, and there's walking trails, typically some parks along it, maybe some different like soccer fields or green grass fields, and then a lot of trees around as well. So those are very common throughout Austin. And recently I went up to Dallas to visit a friend, and I was kind of surprised. I'm like, where are your parks? Where's the walking trails? It felt kind of weird going to a different city, also in Texas, but they didn't have the same water features that we have here. So that's definitely a big perk, is outdoor activities. Personally, my favorite outdoor activity are our natural springs here in Texas. So our most famous one is Barton Springs. It is a natural spring right next to downtown Austin in southwest Austin, and they have dammed up this natural spring. I want to say 80 to 100 years ago, they dammed it up and made this natural pool, and the water is about 60 degrees year round. So it's great in the summer when it's 100 plus outside. It's always packed throughout the summer. And I think it's just really cool. You're sitting in this natural spring water, and you can see the downtown skyline from there. It's very unique. I love going. And throughout Austin, they have other natural springs that are a little bit further out of town. But I've gone to many of those as well, and they're awesome. They're great for swimming. They have rope swings usually, and you can kind of just hang out, have a picnic and enjoy the outdoors. Pro number 4 is going to be the food scene. Austin is known for having some great food. We have a lot of Tex-Mex and barbecue. So they have a lot of various restaurants downtown and honestly throughout Austin and the surrounding suburbs. And in terms of barbecue, we have, including the suburbs, we probably have, 10 of the top 100 barbecue joints within, an hour's drive of Austin. So if you like barbecue, if you like Tex-Mex, a ton of restaurants, and there's a ton of amazing restaurants to go around. You'll never get tired. You'll never hit them all. So that's definitely a huge perk that I hear frequently is the great food scene that we have here in Austin. Pro number 5 is going to be the laid-back lifestyle that we have. So Austin tends to be more of a younger city. We have, a lot of new economic development, a lot of tech jobs, and we also have a big university of UT Austin. So all that combined really, brings a younger culture into Austin, and typically younger generations are more laid back than other generations. Anecdotally, I've noticed this by traveling to Houston and Dallas. I was expecting, similar vibes from the people that I saw there, but I really found that in those areas there are, people are more, I guess, less laid back, more structured, more established. I don't know how to say that nicely. More strict, I guess. More of your typical Texan, if you think about a typical Texan. So that's definitely one thing I didn't notice living here. And then when I went to different cities around Austin, I definitely noticed a difference. Pro number 6 is going to be education and innovation. So like I said, UT Austin is located here. There's about 60,000 students. So, there's a lot of educational opportunities within the city of Austin. And also in terms of innovation, we have, like I said, a lot of companies relocating here. And that has really caused a lot of different sectors to come up as well. So for example, Elon Musk relocated Tesla to Austin. So they have a huge manufacturing plant. They also have brought a lot of surrounding businesses to come, feed their company. So like, EV battery makers, or we have Samsung manufacturing chips. So things that are, tangential to these big businesses that you hear about relocating to Austin really have sparked a lot of new jobs, a lot of innovation, and it's been really cool to see, the different things that come out of Austin and the different companies that like to have their employees here. Pro number 7 is going to be no state income tax. So throughout all of Texas, we do not have state income tax, and the state gets all of its revenue from two sources. One is property taxes. The second is going to be sales taxes. So property taxes in Texas are very high compared to the majority of states. In the city of Austin, it's somewhere around 2.2% on average. So, for example, if you have a $500,000 house, you're likely going to be paying $10,000 in taxes per year. We also have fairly high sales taxes as well. And in Austin, I believe it's 8.25%. So, the pro is less income taxes, but the con is they have to make up for that somewhere. And, property taxes and sales taxes are two of the main ways where they try to make up those gaps. Con number 1 about Austin, Texas is the rising cost of housing. So Austin has boomed, especially since 2020. A lot of people are relocating here because they're looking for a cheaper cost of living, and that has really driven up demand and prices have shot up. So a lot of people relocating from these major metros like LA, San Francisco are relocating to Austin for that cheaper cost of living. And, it's really driven up the price. Surprisingly, which I was shocked by this, is you always hear about people from California moving to Austin. And I assume that's where the largest share of people were coming from. But it turns out the highest influx of population is coming from other places in Texas. So that means most of our residents relocating here are coming from a different city or a different town within Texas. So that kind of goes back to the economic opportunities that we have. There's a lot of jobs, there's very low unemployment here. That's attracting a lot of people, again, causing housing prices to shoot up over the past, 4 years specifically, but you can go back, all the way 20, 30 years, and housing prices were much, much different. Con number 2 is going to be traffic and infrastructure. So the city of Austin didn't really prepare for the amount of population growth that we have seen. The city itself has a population of about 1 million, and then the whole metro has about another 1 million. So 2 million people total within an hour radius of downtown. So they really did not expect there to be that much population growth, and their infrastructure really has suffered because of that. For example, there are 2 major freeways that go into downtown Austin, and they both run north-south. There's one on South Austin that runs east-west, but the city freeway system isn't designed for the amount of people that we have in Austin. There's frequently traffic jams. It just wasn't planned out super well. So your commute might be a lot longer than it was 5-10 years ago, but relative to where you're moving from, it still might be a lot shorter. So for example, I live about 18 miles from my office and I go in every day. On average, that takes me about 45 minutes, whereas I know some people who live much closer, but they're in LA and the traffic is much, much worse. And they always tell me, like, this is nothing, you guys are at least moving. In LA, it's stop traffic. So depending on where you're moving from, it might be better, but compared to what it was 5, 10, 15 years ago, it's a lot worse. Con number 3 is going to be the extreme heat that we have here in the summer. It is Texas. We are very far south, and it frequently gets up to 100 degrees. Last year really broke a lot of records for our heat. There's about 100 days of 100 degrees, and I believe it was maybe 150 days without rain. It was brutal last year. But this year in 2024, the summer really was not bad at all. I don't believe it hit 100 degrees consistently until July, and it felt like it was over 100 for maybe 2 months. So it was kind of a 180, whereas 2023, it felt like there were 6 months of summer. 2024 felt like there was 2 months of summer. So if you don't like the heat in general, that's a big con for you, and it is kind of unpredictable whether it's going to be a very hot summer or more of a mild summer that we had this year. Con number 4 is going to be gentrification of Austin. So there are, like I said, a ton of people relocating to Austin, and that has spurred a lot of new development. So neighborhoods 10 years ago looked completely different than today. There's a lot of homes being torn down and being rebuilt, and the character that some of these neighborhoods had has been lost over the past 10, 15, 20 years. So that's definitely a big con, is things have changed quite a bit. If you're looking for more new construction, there's a lot of new homes. If you prefer the older style of home, that typically isn't super present here in Austin anymore. Con number 5 is limited public transportation. So the main source of public transportation here is our bus system, and I frequently heard that it gets backed up, it's not super efficient. It's a common complaint that I hear. They are building out a railway system, but it's extremely slow moving. There's only one route right now. It doesn't branch out. It's just going from Northwest Austin to downtown. So it's extremely limited right now, and it has been seeing a lot of opposition. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't hit the goals that they set of new stations coming online, if it's met with more pushback from the community. So public transportation, not great. If you need to, commute to work by public transportation, I recommend getting as close to a bus line as possible. Con number 6 is allergies. I touched on this in a recent video. Allergies are pretty bad in Austin, and they're not super bad right when you move here, but once you've been here 3+ years, that's when they start getting, pretty brutal. I had one coworker once that had allergies so bad that they frequently couldn't come to work because of their allergies. They were bedridden for, it felt like a week, just dealing with these allergies. So if you are susceptible to allergies, it's a huge con, something you definitely need to think about and research on your own. Con number 7 is overcrowding and loss of weirdness. Austin had a slogan of "Keep Austin Weird," and it was very unique culture. Many longtime residents feel like they have lost the quirky, weird charm that Austin once had, and they say that the influx of population and young people really have detracted from that previous culture of keeping Austin weird. For those who loved Austin's old school laid-back lifestyle, they say that has been lost to the influx of new residents and tourists and development of downtown that has happened over the past few decades. Con number 8 is property taxes. I already touched on this. Property taxes are high in Austin, so that is a big con and definitely something you need to account for if you're looking to purchase a home in the city of Austin. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about the Austin area, feel free to reach out. My contact info is in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.